record this. Okay, you can say whatever you want. I don't care. But know that it'll be on the recording. Okay, so the first thing is this. In your lift, okay, I don't know what you've been told, but know this. Look at the difference in how he's moving inside his back leg versus how you're a little bit more over your back leg. Now, I've seen way worse, okay? But I'm just saying you could actually be a little bit more aggressive moving forward than you are right now. Okay, so we're trying to create speed down the mound. We talked a lot about acceleration, okay? How do we accelerate? How do we move down the mound faster? Well, being in motion, having early forward movement is very critical in gaining speed down the mound. Okay, so when you move your feet, you're essentially in motion by the time you already get into these positions. So that's why moving your feet has such an advantage, because you're already in motion. Okay, now you're not doing this poorly. I'm just saying you could gain a little bit more speed by starting this earlier. Okay, now I'm going to take you to where your hand goes down. Okay, so your hand starts going up right there. So just to where your hand goes down, and I'm going to take Chapman to where he goes down. Okay, so his arm starts swinging up right there, so I'm going to stop you in the same position. Okay, now you don't have to be exactly like him, but the idea is how much you can be like him, because you are a human, and humans tend to move in similar ways. You have 2 arms, he has 2 arms, you have 2 legs, he has 2 legs. Okay, he might be more athletic. He is more athletic than all of us, okay? And he might be more flexible and blah, 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 blah. But the point is this. I can for sure get moving down the mound more turned away, okay? So you'll notice 2 things. He's more turned away than you. So if I'm the catcher, I would be looking more at his back than I would be looking at your back. I'd be looking more at your shoulder versus your back. And you will also notice, now my line isn't perfect, but you will notice how much farther down the mound he is by the time his hand gets to the bottom. Okay, so your hand is about to go up. Okay, so is his, and he's in a different position than you. Okay, so these are the movements that I would focus most on if I were you. Okay, getting into your leg kick and getting out of your leg kick and trying to copy the idea that you're seeing with Chapman. I'm moving down the mound early. I'm moving down the mound and with my body turned away. You might hear coaches say closed. And my hands and feet catch up to what my body does. I don't want my hands and feet to separate faster than my body moves. Okay, so I'm just going to take you where your arm gets parallel to the ground. Okay, so this is what you look like. He doesn't get to that point until right here. So you can tell, again, he's moved down the mound farther. That's the thing. So he's doing these things later than you are. Okay. So early on, we just need to move a little bit more. Later on, we just need to have moved by the time we get down here. So notice, aside from saying you should be turned away a little bit more, I'm really not asking you to change what you do. I'm asking you to improve on the timing of when you do it. Okay? Last but not least, okay? When you go into front foot strike, you will see this in your other video and it's more obvious, so I'm going to zoom in here. You're not putting your foot down until right there. So I'm not just looking for when you're come in contact with the ground, but watch your knee move. So knee freezes right there. Okay, so we have this, you're coming in contact with your toe, and then your leg actually braces itself. I'll give it to you right about there. Okay? I'll do the same thing with Chapman. Okay? Go down, he's coming in contact there, and I watch his front leg, and it braces right there. Okay? Okay, so we're similar in position right here. Okay? You are slightly earlier than him in this. And I don't know that you can tell as much as I can, but you have to trust me here. Okay? So what you will notice is, that is more obvious, is if you look at his back leg and you look at your back leg, he has more hip his laces are facing the ground more than yours are.
Yeah.
So this goes back to the idea that 80% of velocity can be attributed to hip and shoulder separation. Hip and shoulder separation is measured at foot strike. Okay. So what that is your back hip traveling ahead of your back shoulder. Okay? So elite throwers have anywhere between 40 and 65 degrees of hip and shoulder separation. What that means is I typically measure hip and shoulder separation right here. So this is more obvious for you. Boom. Okay? So this is more accurate of where you guys are in the same spot. His chest is at 0 degrees. Okay. So his shoulder would be back at the catcher or at the second baseman right now.
Yep.
Okay, so what I'm measuring is how many degrees have his hips turned ahead of his shoulders. So he has close to 65 degrees of hip turn by now. You can imagine what 90 degrees would look like. That's physically impossible.
Yeah.
So the best throwers have 40 to 65 degrees of hip and shoulder separation where their hips turn ahead of their shoulders significantly. Okay, so again, as we lift, we're trying to get down the mound early. We're trying to time up our movements so our hands and feet catch up to the momentum of our body versus separating faster than our body's actually moving. Once we go to turn, we do it by getting our hip to turn ahead of our shoulders. Okay? Trying to time that is the name of the game. So your inconsistencies of when your hip turns and when you separate has everything to do with everything.
Okay.